got one of them. Almost. Oh, jeez. Oh, man. I'm still laughing. Oh my gosh, and it summons him again. How's it going, everyone? This is Rozalin, and today we're going to be doing the latest trial that just came out, Parade of the Possessed. This is the ultimate version, the hard version, and at least for me this time it was actually difficult, though I will say one of the biggest difficulties I had with this fight was not actually the fight itself, but finding friends who were equipped to deal with the fight. With that said, this is the party setup I have. Let's go into why I'm using who I'm using. So for Wilhelm here, I have him set up with the standard, just at boosting his stats as high as possible, making him immune to status elements. The only main thing different here, as you can see, I have him equipped with Artisan. This is to help with the mission. All my missions are going to be done kind of just passively, so that's how I have that. I'm also geared basically as best as I can gear him, just because I'm sick of this fight. And then for CG Lid, general standard gearing for boosting her limit break and everything. The only difference is I have her equipped with a weapon that deals lightning damage and a weapon that deals fire damage. Main reason for this, again, for the deal damage missions. Then my main damage dealer is going to be Cloud, and I have him set up to be non-elemental on purpose. And then I have Santa Rosalia, pretty standard setup, boosting her resistances, stats, and most importantly limit break gauge. Then I have CG Nickel, again pretty standard setup. One important thing here, especially for me, is I put this weapon on here to give him access to fire and thunder magic. This is to get the magic finish, which I actually did not get on my first kill. I forgot to bring it, so I had nothing that could actually damage the boss. And that's it. Let's go. Okay, so this first fight's really easy. I'm just going to go ahead and do AoE cover here. I'm going to break them. This is going to take care of missions this way. And just get up some HP MP regeneration, buff my characters, and just start taking out the enemies one at a time. I would say I really hate this fight. Not because the fight itself is difficult. I actually kind of enjoy that it's a little bit more difficult and require a lot more planning. What I hate is because the difficult part of the fight is the second half, and if you make any mistakes early on in the fight, then you're basically screwed. You have to go do the whole thing over again, and it takes a while to get there, and I really don't like that. There's a lot of setups you can go for this fight. I found, for me, the most reliable way for dealing with the final encounter, it was to use two clouds. I tried a number of different setups. I tried using Randy's, I tried using, oh, who else did I try besides Randy? I tried using Randy, I tried using Kyo, I tried using Transtina. But the combination of two clouds so far proved to be the most reliable for me. So that's what I'm showing today. Okay, and now we get to this dude right here. Nothing too special. If you're using Randy's for him, I recommend just taking out the boss with wind. If you're lucky, it'll actually take out all of them, even though the little dudes are resistant to wind. I'm not using any elements here, so I'm just going to do the standard, and I'm just going to take him out by himself first. Pretty much the same setup as before with the buffs. And I'm sorry if I'm not going too in-depth on some of these encounters. These are the very easy encounters at the beginning here, and they're not much different from the normal version of this fight, so there's not a whole lot to go into on them. Okay, and here we're just going to go ahead and dispel. I'm actually just going to dispel and fully heal my party. We'll have to take a little bit of damage, and then I'm going to set up to recover MP. And that's one thing you do want to make sure you're doing with this fight, is making sure you're using proper MP management, because it is 9 encounters in a row. The only thing that's I'm kind of worried about here is my friend does not have Meteor Rain maxed out, so that might cause trouble later on. Okay, now we have this wave. The only thing I caution here with this wave is you want to make sure you take out this Europa thing before you take out all 3 of the little adds. And that's mainly because if you don't, the boss will get a bunch of buffs, and then he'll basically retaliate your party, and it's not pretty. So I highly recommend you do it this way. You take out that thing first. You might also want to be careful, because it is entirely possible if you're using a counter tank like I am, for the counter tank to accidentally take out the adds himself. It shouldn't be too much of a big deal, but if you are taking too long to kill the main enemy back here, it could cause problems. Like in my case, since it got down to 1%, I'll be able to just finish this with Meteor Rain on the next turn. My friend is unfortunately not using the proper Esper. This is the only Cloud friend I can find right now online. Everyone has switched to other characters, or are still using characters that are useless for this fight. Or for this trial, I should say. So, because we should be able to easily take this out, let's go ahead and begin with MP here. And Rosalia is going to heal just in case. I believe 1 Meteor Rain should be able to do this. I mean, if it doesn't, it's not that big of a deal. Just one more round of it. Yeah, more than enough. Okay, next fight. This is the first fight where it can be kind of scary, mainly because of this dude right here, the Fire Swordsman or whatever. He has an ability that randomly causes instant death, and it can do it up to 6 times on your entire party. It's very, very annoying. I've never had it do less than 3 characters to me. I assume it can do less than 3, but that's just what I've experienced. Ideally, you want to take him out the first turn, so you don't even have to deal with it. However, if you can't take it out in 1 turn, I highly recommend you have some way of putting up AoE re-raise on your entire party and getting him down in 2 turns, because he does use it every single turn. In my case, I'm going to be using a limit break to take him out. So first I'm going to go ahead and buff up the party. And then before I do any other thing, I'm going to go ahead and do this and see if I even get the kill on him or not, because whether or not he dies this first turn will inform the actions I take afterwards for the rest of my party members. I don't think it should be a problem. Yeah. Just like I said, had I not been able to take him out in 1 turn there, I would have used AoE re-raise. But since I did, it's fine. We're going to go ahead and buff up here. And actually, we're just going to use big breaks on the boss here, because there's really no need to deal damage to him. And with Santa Rosalia, we're going to go ahead and put up her limit break here to prevent status effects. And now what I'm going to do here, I'm actually not going to go into taking out this boss immediately. I'm going to build up the limit break gauges for both of my clouds, because I again want to use my limit breaks on the next fight. So because of that, I'm just going to be using normal attacks here. I'm just trying to build up the limit break gauge, and also to that end I'll be using the buffs from Nickel that buff the limit break gauge as well. Wilhelm will just use regular guard there, or provoke, and just guard with Santa Rosalia. And there's going to be a couple turns of doing this until both of the limit breaks for Cloud are filled up. Okay, now that they're filled up, we can proceed into going to the next phase. I don't remember entirely whether or not I can take this guy out in one turn. Maybe. If not, it's not that big of a deal. Let's see if we can make sure we keep everyone topped off here, just in case I do take him out in one turn. Not even close. Yeah, that's fine though. So Wilhelm, just go ahead and use provoke again. This. Out and restore MP. Okay, next fight. The Kraken. So, this fight right here works very similar to every other time you've seen this enemy. It deals a lot of very strong AoE magic and AoE physical damage. Specifically, ice damage, I believe, is the scariest thing it does. So if you are struggling, I highly recommend increasing your ice resistance. I also recommend having some way to use AoE re-raise, but for me, I'm going to hope that I'm able to take it out in one turn. The main reason I spent time building up my limit gauge again on Cloud was to be able to do this. Now, you don't have to take out the tentacles, you can just take out the main body, but if you are struggling with it, I do recommend going after the tentacles first before the main body, just so you can lower the overall damage you take throughout the rest of the fight. Oh, and I do want to break the boss, just in case the boss doesn't break. I don't believe it breaks its defenses, but I want to make sure, just in case this doesn't take it out, that I prevent as much incoming damage to me as possible. And I just now realized I used the wrong ability, so I meant to use my limit break there, and I was thinking something completely different. So this is going to suck, and I may very well die for this. But this is exactly why I waited to use Santa Rosalia. As you can see, the damage is incredibly high. That little mess up is not too big of a deal. Now we will use the proper thing. This is what I should have done last time. As you can see, the boss also has stop, and Santa Rosalia is able to stop. Hopefully that doesn't carry over into the next fight. Okay, good. So, now that I've got my little mess up out the way, hopefully that's the only one I have. Now we'll go on to this fight. This fight right here, I hope you have AoE re-raise, because you're going to need it. So what we're going to do is we're going to cast AoE re-raise on the party. I am going to use Nickel to give some MP back. I don't think everyone's close to topped off, that's fine. I'm just going to use regular attacks, get as much limit stones as possible. And then I'm going to cast Raise, targeting the Terror Knight. And then it's going to die, and then it's going to AoE kill my entire party, and I'm going to revive from it. Simple as that. Okay, now this fight here, if you have a magic tank, then I recommend taking out this lower guy. If you do not have a magic tank like me, I recommend taking out the Chimera at the top, which is what I will be doing. The Chimera at the top does a lot of magic damage. This thing down here does a lot of physical damage. It still hits pretty hard, but I recommend taking out the Chimera first. So to that end, I'm going to first go ahead and limit break here to get some healing going. Buffs and debuffs as usual. Daily provoke, and this time I do mean to actually use Climb Hazard. Unlike last time where I made a mistake. Normally how that fight was supposed to go was I supposed to take no damage versus the little Kraken thing. You're supposed to use limit break and finish it, and it looks like my friend's damage is significantly lower than what I'm used to. So for every other time I've done this fight, I've actually taken the Chimera out in one turn. My friend not having the proper setup is actually really quite an issue, which is making me worry about the last fight. I may not be able to do it because of my friend. Okay. I've done that. Let's go ahead and do these buffs. And that's really been one of my biggest complaints about this fight, is it's so friend dependent, and if your friends aren't equipped or geared using the proper espers, anything like that, I mean, it can basically prevent you from being able to complete the fight. I think I am, again, this time going to go ahead and build up my Esper gauge one more time. I'm going to put re-raise on Wilhelm because this boss does have one fairly scary attack that actually can kill Wilhelm in one hit. So we'll go ahead and make sure he's topped off. Oops. Let's actually do what I said I was going to do instead of going to kill the fight. Really don't feel like doing this encounter yet again. Okay, it buffed itself, so we're going to go ahead and debuff it. And then I believe because it buffed itself, the very next thing it's going to do is the thing that's probably going to kill Wilhelm. But we're still going to go ahead and break it. I was hoping he's a little bit higher. Ooh, he survived this time. Excellent. Every other time I've come in here, that's actually killed him. Okay, so there, when our brakes are up to full. It's not necessary, it's just a precautionary measure I like to take for the next encounter to get the limit brakes up that high. And let's go ahead and use magic here, or not magic, P. And we'll go ahead and take out the boss and move on to the next encounter of this incredibly long marathon. Okay, next fight. I always take out this thing down here first because it's a spirit, so I assume it's going to cast magic, and my party doesn't have really any way to deal with magic damage, so I take it out first. It's not that big of a deal. This fight, not too scary, but the reason that I got my limit break up like I did again was so I could take this out in one turn. And this time I'm actually going to use my limit break instead of using the wrong ability. Oops, and mistap, so they're not going to chain. Actually, it ended up working out almost better. Okay. Well, that's something for you. Actually, I don't want to use that here. Just go ahead and use this and that. wonder if my friend will, I wonder with this friend if I'll be able to one-turn this. Yep. Okay. And now we get to the actual, very hard part of the fight. We have Europa and the Searchers. So the Searchers will chain with Europa, and it's incredibly nasty and almost comical what happens if you leave them alive. So what I found to be the safest thing to do, and this is the reason I chose to use Cloud, is to just take out the Searchers at the exact same time. The problem with this fight is Europa will resummon them again later on, so you really want to be able to take them out in one turn, and then if possible deal while also dealing damage to Europa. That's where Cloud comes in. So what we're going to do here is we're actually not going to buff, we're going to use Stop Protection, because this boss does use Stop, and I also believe later on in the fight it uses Charm, but that will be handled with Santa Rosalia's Limit Break. And then we are going to use Dispel, and I'm actually going to cure the Spirit debuff here off my party. Then we are going to use our Limit Break here, and we're going to hope that the Limit Break is up every time that the Searchers come back up. So Europa cannot be broken, or cannot have its defense broken, but the Searchers can. Wilhelm's going to use that, and then we are going to double Meteor Rain. And hope that this is enough. My friend, again, is not entirely geared how I'd want to, or I would hope to be, so this might not work, and if it doesn't, this video is over. Okay, it works. So as long as now I don't fumble my chaining, I should be able to finish this fight. The only thing now will be, can I finish it while also getting the magic kill, which I missed last time. Okay, so now that's done, we are going to use regular, provoke there, I'm going to put these regular defense or attack and magic breaks up on the boss. And Rosalia is going to use her Limit Break immediately, and I'm actually going to use it with Nickel as well to clear the debuffs. And then the Clouds are going to go into using Climb Hazard for now. It actually works out that Meteor Rain does more damage on this fight for me, but I'm going to go ahead and do it this way. More for HP management. I want to be able to get it low to where I can take out the boss with a Meteor Rain chain while finishing with a magic attack. That's kind of the goal here. As you can see, the Searchers were just now revived, so what we're going to do now, we're going to go put some more buffs up on Nickel to renew those. We'll go ahead and renew this, and we are going to again Dispel and heal, and actually they came up quicker than I expected them to. I expected them to come back on turn 4. It's okay. The frequency increases throughout the fight with how quickly they come back. Okay, so turn 4 here, we're going to go ahead and renew the stop debuff, and while we're at it, we're going to go ahead and renew Rosalia's Limit Break, and renew the buff. Now, something you may want to pay attention, if you are using elemental weapons here, at this point in the fight, Europa puts a debuff on himself that debuffs his fire, lightning, and earth resistance. This is when you'd want to aim to deal the majority of your damage, but do be warned that using these elements will not do any damage to the searchers. They are immune to it. Or not really immune, their resistances are high enough to where they can't, you can't deal damage with those elements. So just be warned on that, but this is an opportunity to deal a lot of damage if you're using elemental weapons. I'm going to use Cloud's Limit Break here though. Okay, so let's go ahead and just keep renewing this stuff. No real reason to renew it other than to just renew it, but that's fine. Nickel will use big buffs this time since they're up. And Santa, what are you gonna do? Some that break gauge generation, I guess. Okay. Oh, I used two different abilities. That was entirely my bad. I am not paying attention. Okay, let's dispel. Break. I'm gonna check something. We still have stop protection. Okay, okay, it still killed him. That was a mistake on my part. I normally would not be too upset about that. Obviously I don't want to make mistakes like that, but on this fight, if you make a mistake and you then lose because of that mistake, it's another 30 minutes of your life that you have to spend getting back to this point, so that's why I don't want to do that. That's not what I want to do. Let's renew stop protection, renew Santa Rozalia's limit break here. And the searchers are back. Let's hope I don't make the same mistake again. What are you gonna do, Nickel? Let's go ahead and use your limit break. Okay, let's not mess this up. Okay, while I'm at it, since these things are going to start coming quicker, I'm actually going to go ahead and put stop, back up, and renew Rozalia's limit break again. I don't really need to at this point. I still have another turn to go. I just want to make sure that it doesn't fall off and I accidentally have somebody get stopped that I don't want to. And I'm actually going to use Meteor Rain Chains here from here on out to gauge the amount of damage I'm getting off of them. So that's 17% now. Oh, okay. That was 13% off that. Okay, we have to go for the kill here then. That's fine. Spell. At least the boss is debuffed with fire, so that should help a little bit. Ooh, 3%. Okay. Let's go fire. Okay, let's hope I get the timing on this right so I actually get the magic kill. Okay, never ever doing that fight again, but I hope this helped. I apologize again for not having as accurate of data going through this the whole time. I spent the majority of last night just trying to figure this fight out and struggling with it and resetting my game to try to get friends who were geared properly to even take on the fight. So check back on Reddit the next week or two if you want more accurate information. There should be a post up there by either myself or Nasda or somebody else. So I'll see you then.